One of the areas of interest in my research on Armenian church and religion, especially in modern and contemporary times, is the role of women. I have looked into, for instance, the historical and current practices of ordination of women into the office of the deacon in the Armenian Church, which actually is the first rank in the hierarchical system of the Armenian Church. Now, deaconesses have been part of the Christian tradition from the early years of the faith. There are numerous references in the New Testament and in early church writings. But particularly in the Armenian Church tradition, the development of the office of the female diaconate is generally divided into four historical periods. First, 4th to 8th centuries in Greater Armenia. Second, 9th to 11th centuries in Eastern and Cilician Armenia, where actually the term deaconess or sargavakuhi is included in the book of the ordination, the mashtots. The third period, 12th century and on, where there are literary references and rites for the ordination of deaconesses in the liturgical text in Cilicia and Eastern Armenia. And finally, the fourth period is 17th century and on, where there was a remarkable renewal of female diaconate in the Armenian Church. Interestingly, the last ordained monastic deaconess in the Armenian Church was Sister Ripsime Sasunian in Istanbul at the Patriarchate of Constantinople, who passed away in 2007. This, in a way, brought to an end to the tradition of monastic deacons in the Armenian Church. But remarkably, there have been two ordinations of female deacons in the 21st century. The first in 2002 in the Diocese of Argentina, and in 2017 in the Diocese of Tehran. And what is most significant about these two ordinations is that the two women are neither nuns nor members of a monastic order, but they are what we could call parish deacons, like their male counterparts. That is, that they have their careers in other professions and serve in the church during the Sunday liturgy and other liturgical services throughout the year. I want to highlight one of the most remarkable and interesting deaconesses in the Armenian Church, who lived in the late 19th to early 20th century, and that is Deaconess Ripsime Tchilingirian of St. Stephen's Nunnery in Tiflis, Georgia. Three wonderful aspects about Deaconess Ripsime Tchilingirian. First, she was the daughter of an aristocratic, wealthy family, the Behbutians in Georgia, and whose family built and funded the convent, interestingly, in Tiflis for many decades. Actually, many of the 20 nuns or so were the daughters of aristocratic Armenian families in Georgia at the time. Deaconess Ripsime was well known for her compassion and services to the orphans and the poor in town, and was actually considered a prominent female leader by the Armenian Church hierarchy. Secondly, her work and dedication were acknowledged by several Catholicoi of Echmiadzin and the Patriarch of Jerusalem when she had gone there as a pilgrim to the Holy Land. They bestowed upon her the pectoral cross, or the lanchachach, which is normally given to ordained priests, but we see that Deaconess Ripsime, as well as other deacons in her monastic order, were wearing the pectoral cross. As an abbess, Deaconess Ripsime wore two pectoral crosses and a ring as a sign of her rank and authority within the convent. The third aspect about her, and most significant, I believe, is the magnificent, ornate, carved wooden doors of the Cathedral of Holy Echmiadzin, which was donated by Deaconess Ripsime to the Holy See in 1889. And actually it stands until today, and any visitor will have a chance to see it. There is an inscription right in the middle of the door where it says, "It is in memory of Archdeacon Ripsime Hratch Tchilingirian." Unfortunately, the Sovietization of the Caucasus in the 1920s not only destroyed the Armenian convents in Tiflis as well as other places such as in Shushi, Karabakh, but the communist authorities drove these nuns into extreme poverty, and many of them were exiled to distant places. After years of living in miserable conditions and moving from one place to another, Deaconess Ripsime Tchilingirian was given shelter in Holy Echmiadzin, and that's where she died in 1934. She was buried in the cemetery adjacent to St. Gaiane Monastery nearby Echmiadzin. Obviously, the debate about female deacons in our times continues in various communities and throughout the Armenian Church, but I believe it has to be framed in the context of the Church's mission in the 21st century.